I'm Jeff Natale, and president of ErieKIDS. Today I thought I'd talk about a subject that came as a result of a question that was submitted online about what to do when you and your spouse, or you and your spouse from a second marriage, do not share similar parenting philosophies. And after thinking about it a little bit and really trying to answer the question from a divorced and remarried perspective, I really thought, that this question is not one that is just specific to divorce, but really differences in philosophy between parents exist in first marriages as well. So I thought, it'd be a good subject to talk about briefly in my President's Vlog. And so here are some ideas about what you might want to consider in terms of how you might want to deal with those differing philosophies in your first marriage even. And the first thing you want to do is talk about it before you have kids. The things that you want to discuss are how were you parented and what are your expectations around children and how children should behave. What are your expectations about how parents should parent those children, or the children that you have. And I think philosophically it's a great time to talk because you don't have kids and you can't really offend each other. You're just speaking in philosophical terms. The other thing that you want to discuss is the bookends. And what I mean by bookends is really how far will you go as a parent and how little will you intervene. In other words, one of the greatest questions to ask is, will you spank your children? And it's a very controversial subject. Not all parents spank, and some actually feel that it's a form of corporal punishment and we shouldn't do it. Yet other parents feel that it's okay to spank the kids. So you really want to talk about that as one end of the bookend. And then the other end is how permissive will you be with those kids? What expectations will you have, if any? Will they have to pick up their clothes or clean their room and those kind of things? Again, good conversations to have both before children and after. Once you have your kids, the third point that I would get to is the idea of that you need to set time aside to really evaluate how well you're doing as co-parents. You want to spend time, maybe even as much as 15 minutes per day, discussing what went well with your parenting approach and what went poorly with your parenting approach that day, and make plans to change your philosophies, your approach, your techniques each and every day. And finally, when things get very difficult and you find that you've reached or even surpassed your own abilities to intervene with the kids, it's always good to consult an expert, a child and family therapist specifically. Therapy doesn't have to be forever, and it doesn't have to even last longer than even 1 or 2 sessions. I like to call them just consultation sessions when a parent comes in and asks, hey, we're struggling with this or this problem, and what do you think we ought to do about it? A lot can be accomplished in a session or two. Be prepared that if there are bigger problems that you may need to spend more time, and that's okay. And of course, we always welcome your comments and questions on ErieKIDS. Feel free to log in to ErieKIDS.com and send us an email or fill out one of our forms, and we'll be sure to either get back to you or list your question and answer on the website. Take care and good parenting.